Well, welcome, welcome. This is coming to you from Heaven and Earth Sanctuary, the home of the Lightworkers Institute. And Kelly and I are here to explain what psychosomatic therapy is and what you can learn in a 2-week process, 14 days, down here in Costa Rica in the jungles, and how to come back to ourselves and understand ourselves at a very deep level. So my name is Carol Maureen Friesen, and I have been teaching psychosomatic therapy for 23 years now, and since the year 2000, I should say. And it's been an amazing journey of self-discovery, but also how to read other people, and especially if you're a holistic practitioner or workshop leaders, how we can actually portray ourselves in a different way and work through our own issues in our tissues and understand ourselves at a very deep soul level. So Kelly is here with me today. She's actually getting her diploma in teaching psychosomatic therapy. And so welcome, Kelly. And
Thank you.
we'll hear from you in a minute about your journey. I just wanted to expand on how I got into it. Back in 1999, I owned a bistro and blues bar for 14 years, and I thought I'd sell it because I'd read the Celestine Prophecy, and I said, oh my God, I better go on my spiritual journey. So I had the privilege of meeting Herman Mueller, the founder and director of the Psychosomatic Therapy College in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And the moment he looked at someone, he could read right through them, and I said, whatever that man can do, I'm going to learn. And needless to say, I signed up for all his trainings. And so I had the privilege of working with Herman for, well, I still do with the college for sure. For 14 years, I brought him into Canada and United States, and we opened up many, many cities and did all the expos, all the Body, Soul, Spirit expos, New Earth expos, Conscious Life, LA Conscious Life Expo, doing speaking on it, and then reading thousands and thousands of faces, because it's something we can do in a very short period of time of meeting someone. We do 10-minute reads, and we'd read up to like 140 faces in a weekend, and then offer our trainings in psychosomatic therapy. And psychosomatic therapy meaning the psyche, or the soul's consciousness, living in the soma, how much consciousness is in the flesh, and where our issues are in the tissues, and how a person can transform those through bridging the subconscious mind, which is our body, with the conscious mind of what has happened in our life experiences that have made us into the shape that we are in. So as we think, so we become. And at this time, in expanded consciousness and in this, as we ascend, but ascending means to expand. And we can only ascend as much as we can expand. And I think even the last few years, as we see what's happening in the world, our consciousness is expanding and expanding and expanding. And the only thing that's keeping us stuck here is the gravitational pull, but gravity is in here. And it's how our belief systems are actually that gravitational pull. Otherwise, we can ascend and levitate. We can do many, many things in this lifetime, but it's the brainwashing that's happened and our life experiences and where we've grown up and the education we have, that has manipulated us. And to break free from that is to understand yourself at the deepest level. Our inner world creates that outer world. And so there's so much to talk about, and we do this through a series of talks. And so Kelly, let's introduce you before we get right into the manual, or I'll just finish a couple more things, is what we're going to do today is actually take you through a good part of the manual and the process that we do in 14 days, so a person can really make up their mind if this is for them if they really want to understand themselves and love themselves at the deepest level. And your soul is saying, turn around, look at me, I'm beautiful, I am pure love. And it's up to us to love that person we see in the mirror every day of our life and look deep within ourselves into our inner child. What did that child come here for? And how we can evolve within ourselves. It's not about, we're not going anywhere. We're masters. We're staying right here. And through this transformation that happens every 26,000 years, and we have that opportunity, and there's no greater gift than psychosomatic therapy, being sacred messages through body language. So yeah, Kelly, if you want to just drop in, tell us a bit about yourself. And
yeah, thank you, Carol. So I met Carol back in 2019 when I had just started my own personal healing and new spiritual journey. And I had done all these other retreats and trainings. And then I went to a restaurant one day and I met Carol, and she just gave me a hug. And she's like, oh, you didn't get enough pats on the back or affection. You're probably pretty rebellious growing up. And I was shocked because I just met her. And in a, 5-second embrace, she understood so much about me. And it intrigued me. And also I was in this stage of not quite trusting the body yet. So I thought it was still hocus pocus. And so I continued on with my other trainings, and my body began to have issues. My hip really needed to be replaced. And it was in that moment that I remembered Carol, and I thought, I feel like this is a good time for a discovery call. Let's just see what it's about. And so we got on a call. We went over a couple of injuries in my body, and it was spot on. The messages were spot on. I was like, I don't know what this is. I have no idea how you're able to see this about me, and I need to understand this. And so I went through the process, and it was like the lights went on. Like I'd been living in the dark. And for the first time in my life, I felt validated. Like my life really was what I felt it to be. And I all of a sudden found this newfound compassion for myself. And I was able to work up the courage to begin to face all these parts of me that I had disowned and all the distortions that had manifested from that. And I began my deep healing work. And thank God I found psychosomatic therapy, because before it was like whack-a-mole. Is it this? Is it this? Is it this? And then I found psychosomatic therapy, and I got the roadmap of why I was in the shape I was in. And also step-by-step feedback from this biofeedback system telling me what it needs to feel loved and whole and to come into alignment with what my soul came here for. So I transmuted decades of trauma in a few short years. And I understand that a few short years might seem like a long time. And when you're working with things like incestual rape from a father, or a daughter dying, or growing up with narcissistic parents, that is a massive undertaking to take. And that is how powerful this work is. So if you're desiring that direct track to wholeness and ascending into what you came here for, this is the path.
So you also came from a very, you were going into the seminary, like a religious background. So that religion is a whole other thing, right? So.
Yeah, that was another thing to unwind from, the brainwashing and the shame that was built into me from birth, and the distrust in the body from birth. And then redeveloping that trust with the body and understanding I am the most trustworthy and safe place to be.
Wow. Yeah. So, yeah, with there's so much to learn and to experience. And psychosomatic therapy it's two things. It can be for self-development, your own spiritual growth, and physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, but also you can take a road of professionalism through it. So we train thousands of practitioners how to use psychosomatic therapy in their trainings, let's say with other modalities, but also for their own, it starts with them, right? Everyone says, oh,
Mhm.
I want to learn how to read other people, but they, oh my God, it's about me, right? And how we can transform. And so many people run from therapist to therapist to therapist, and we understand talk therapy doesn't work. You actually keep reinforcing those same issues over and over and over again because you're
Mhm.
strengthening the neurotransmitters of that belief system. So
Mhm.
we like to change it in the physical by releasing the issues within the body, and the soul finally says, finally, you understand, this is what I was going through. And we tend to cover things up and put on a brave face, but it's about addressing all parts of life
Mhm.
and understanding those things. So understanding ourselves first, definitely. So what we're going to do is run through the manual, run through the process of what we do over the 14-day program. We're going to give you bits and pieces, examples of it, because this video will be somewhere between half an hour, 3/4, maybe an hour. Let's see. And yeah, and Kelly's going to give some of her experience, what she learned about herself through the
Mhm.
process and relating to the manual also. And so, yeah, I teach all the way to a diploma in teaching. There's a practitioner, meaning practicing on yourself first and foremost. And that's the 14-day program. And then the next level up is a master's program and then a diploma in teaching if you choose that direction. But you can also just take the self-development avenue, which is doing the live events. But in the professional developments, we do, there's case studies that are turned in and over a year's practice program. And then you can get a government certification through the college, the Psychosomatic Therapy College, which is in Australia. And I work with the college. I have rights to use the copyright material, and like all our teachers do. So I've been very close with, now the director is Mari Mueller, and that's Herman's wife. Herman passed away in 2017, and he was the most incredible man you ever met. And anyone that's ever met Herman, even men, love Herman. He could read right through someone so in depth, right to
Mm.
the soul, right? Yeah, he was amazing. Anyways, that's yeah, I spent 14 years, 4 months of the year, 24/7 with Herman. So I've had a lot of practice, a lot of practice. So yeah, and he developed the whole curriculum for the college. I also teach other like other trainings that are off of this, let's say like psychosomatic numerology, which I call the Rainbow Bridge. I also teach about galactic signature blueprints, how we can use different levels and to understand ourselves and what path, hey, pick a path, that's all, and stick to it.
Mhm.
So we're going to start by sharing the screen, and I'm going to bring up the first module. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Oh,
Yes.
close that. Okay, so the first day the first day of the trainings, we're not coaches, we're trainers. That's what I have to be very clear on. The body needs training, just like any team, basketball or baseball, whatever. They all have a coach and they all have a trainer. So the body is about training. It's our reptilian brain, or we work with the spinal column, the animal part of us. So this is the logo for the college and Herman. So I'm just going to run through. This is the first day that we run through and understanding psychosomatic therapy at a very in-depth level. And we start with understanding the evolution of the body, about body-mind medicine. And It's a new paradigm, a new way. It's a quantum leap in understanding ourselves and programming our body, or training, I should say. And so the
Mm-hmm.
first day we go through all the chakra system, and I'm sure a lot of the holistic practitioners understand the chakra system, but this takes it to a whole new level because we're a holographic universe. So what we're doing is connecting the chakras of the body with the chakras of the face and the hands and the feet. And what we see in one area, usually we can see in all areas. So it's a very, very deep way of understanding why you're in the shape you're in. Are you a Mack truck or a Ferrari? And some people have really small hands, some people have really large hands. What does it mean? And so we go through by coloring all the chakras and connecting it, but by actually doing it, it starts to connect the circuits within ourselves because we're actually understanding ourselves at that level. And so even on that first day, we start body mapping. I mean, yeah, doing a body map where we write out all our injuries on the body, which side of the body, is it left or right? What does it mean? And then also timelines. We do a whole timeline from right when we're born and all the way up to our current age. What things have we gone through and how did we handle it emotionally and mentally? And a lot of things, operations in our life, or if our parents got a divorce, something might have happened, maybe lost hearing. When did you start needing glasses? It all means something. I started needing glasses in grade 3. Since then, I've thrown them away because I use Mariola honey now. And I can see perfectly. And I had glasses, but it was a solar plex issue. So then we start connecting those dots, right? So breakthrough is an overview, what we're going to learn in the next 13 days and through this process. And we start creating this magic within ourselves. So this is Herman right here. This was at a Toronto expo, I think. Yeah, this was in Toronto. You can see, that's probably about 15 years ago, that picture, I'm not sure. So this is kind of like day 1 of the program. We also learn how to take the stage with power, because every day you get over your fear of public speaking, all our idiosyncrasies, and we start into our own body language. Are we pulling our thumb in? Are we twitching? Are we really, really go deep, and then what's happening? And it's bringing up stuff from the past. And a good trained psychosomatic therapist can see right through this. So we also go through a lot of our words because we're always creating spells, casting spells, and understanding all of these certain words. Oh, what is a woman? Now we know what a woman is. A woman is a womb of the man, or the place that gives birth to human life for the manifestation of thought. Yeah. So very, very important to understand. This was one of my favorite things when I first went through, was what is light and being human, and getting, and what is our identity? What is it? Ego is not a bad thing. It's about developing our personality and bridging our ego with our, which is spark of God, with our soul's light and our personality, like to really love that person that we have become. And that spark of God, our personality, is what develops our character, and we can shift that at any time. I'm sure you're very different, Kelly, from when you were 20 years ago in your black suit going to your insurance company cubicle. We can,
More, yeah. 19 years of mortgages, way different. Even different from when I started with you. I was very volatile when I started with you.
yeah, I hate you.
I was a little bit harsher than that.
Was it? Stronger words?
Stronger
Yeah,
words used.
yeah. So this is reading faces, let's say at an expo. It's just a picture. So this is first day. It's just an overview of what we're going to learn in the next 14 days, really get solid, what your intentions are. And you also get your psychosomatic numerology, your life path, and also your galactic signature. And we start practicing a new way of being. So, did I just close that? I'm going to have to go back in. Oh, maybe history. Where is it?
It's that first one right there.
You have to go back. I'm in Dropbox, that's why. Okay. Manuals, there we go. Okay, the second one that we're, let's break through. So the second day, because we're all facing the world, you can, that's one thing you can always read about a person's face, as long as they're not wearing a mask, is their face, right? And I meant, you know, like in countries where they wear, I forget what they're called, you know, like,
Hijab.
yeah. I mean, yeah, most of us are, our faces are uncovered. So we have the art of reading faces. And face reading, I think everyone in the world should learn, is just to recognize and see the beauty in each person we meet. So in face reading, what we do is, I'm going to go to the end first and then come back up. Everyone, what we do is use a template, and we partner you up with another person, and step by step we take you through the whole process of overall face shape, zones of the face, prominent feature, the forehead, the hairline, eyebrows, eyes, nose, ears, mouth, lips, jaws, chin, and cheeks and cheekbones. And then everyone writes up a report, an evaluation of the other person that they have been reading all day. And of course, we're reading them and giving people examples. So this is something that you can do your own face also, understand yourself at a deep level through this structure. So this is, we also give you all the templates so that you can use this on your clients and give them an analysis. So I'm just going to go back to the manual. And this, so first of all, we're looking at the left and right side of the face. We do face splits where we actually look at your own left and right side. So we have a middle picture, and then we put two right sides together and two left sides together. And then different shapes. Structure equals performance. Are you a square or a round or a Mack truck or a Ferrari? Basic face shapes. And the chakras of the face, what they mean.
As well as the body parts found on the face.
Right, yeah. That would be, yeah, how the
that same,
body. This one
was
here.
that same picture. Yeah.
And people say it actually looks creepy, but it gets you to understand where your elbows, how it corresponds with your ambition on the cheekbones. And so what we are learning here is a complete step-by-step how to read a face. The process of learning to read a face, where the overall face shape is your bone structure, and it's kind of like the headlines of a newspaper, and then all the features is all the paragraphs in between to get the whole story. So we look at the forehead, we look at hairlines, eyebrows, different shapes, what they mean, how energy is flowing in the face or where there's restrictions, and cut lines. The eyes are the windows to the soul. The different shapes of the eyes, the level of eyes, where the eye, how the eyes are set, and nose, ear, or eyes and nose. Why does it say that? Ears, the eyes and the nose. Okay. This is color of eyes, what they mean, and different shapes of noses. Snub nose, whoopee! I just want to have fun. We call it the ski jump nose. And ears, position of the ears on the face. Lips, full lips. Lips are your labia, and tongue is the penis. So someone with big hot lips, and especially African, or I shouldn't say, black people, they are very grounded, but they have a lot of sexual energy because they have these huge lips. So lips are the sacral chakra when you get into the chakras of the face. That's how we taste life. And our stability, our base would be jaw, cheekbones, and chin, our stability. And forehead lines, creases, character lines, they all mean something, beards. And here's, let's say, here's a face split. This is the original, and two left sides put together and two right sides put together. We see how, where they're more in their left brain or right brain, and then how it corresponds with what's happening in the body, and then how to bring balance back in when you use the mechanics of the body properly and release the issues in the tissues. It will start to straighten out the face, bring more symmetry into the face. And some questions at the end. What did you learn? So Kelly, what did you learn about face reading when you first came in? I mean, your overall face shape.
Yeah. My overall face shape, I learned to love. Because when I started my psychosomatic journey, it was oval. And then when I continued my psychosomatic journey, I developed more of a triangle chin. I became extremely sensitive to everything, emotions, people, environment. And that's what this angled chin means. Whereas the oval was more like, oh, I'll listen to this, I'll listen to this, a little bit more, not as easily pushed over. Whereas with the triangle chin, I became really sensitive. And for a while, I despised that I was so sensitive because I found it very ungrounding. And really what my soul was inviting me into was to find my strength in my sensitivity and to learn to flow with the emotion, allow them to be felt, transmute them. And so I now see my emotional sensitivity, spiritual nature sensitivity as being one of my greatest strengths.
Yeah, often I do talk about in the class, a lot of people say strength and weaknesses. It's strength and sensitivities. And a lot of people think because they're sensitive, they're weak. No, you find strength within sensitivity, where I got a big square jaw, and I find sensitivity within my strengths. And so, I mean, who moves to Costa Rica in their 60s and start a retreat center? Like, and I've had a lot of strength.
Gutsy.
Yeah. The strength even to do this work for 23 years. I mean, we traveled so much. I mean, airports and hotels, and I set everything up. Yeah. So we just honor what we've got, and we start seeing where in our life has taken us, our life path. And, oh, I am built for this, right?
Yeah.
So that's faces, and we also teach a few. Kelly does also face reading online. If you can't make it to Costa Rica, we are starting to teach some of the programs online, the ones that we can, go through the manuals and teach step by step, and a person can read themselves. So if you're interested in any of that, watch for us on Telegram, on the Lightworkers Institute, or Kelly's website, which is
KellyLoveRewilding.com, or my Instagram. I post a lot of stuff on Instagram, specials and upcoming events, and that's also at KellyLoveRewilding.
Yeah, where I have the lightworkersinstitute.com, And if you get on my mailing list and download my free ebook, you will go into, well, the free ebook's called Your Body Never Lies. And that puts you into a campaign where once a week I send out an email that gives you one little thing that you can change and watch that week. We don't want you to give you the whole smorgasbord because it's too much all at once. People don't do it if it's too much. So we give people little things, change your foot point, or this is what a face, like watch for faces this week, maybe square faces or triangular faces. So yeah, little things each day. So you ready for body mind analysis?
Yes.
This is the big one. We do 3 days on body mind analysis. And
You have to share the screen.
yeah. Yeah, over. Got to get my back arrow. Okay, body mind analysis. So most people have left their body mind on automatic pilot. You don't tell yourself to breathe and like consciously. So we like to go into using our body consciously, how we stand, how we walk, how we breathe. Most people just leave it on, they've never taught their body how to walk properly or stand. So they just let the body do whatever. You don't, and most people live in their head. They're not even in their bodies. So body mind analysis is this 3-day program. And I'm going to take you right to the end and show you the report sheets first. So we have worksheets and we have report sheets. So these worksheets is what you learn. There's 4 of these, and we're looking at the body from all sides. So first of all, the condition of the chakras, how much quality and quantity of flesh, where there's restrictions, where there maybe is protection, and how you stand, how you walk. And we draw, this is a template, so we draw the person right over top of that. This is the back of the body. And we're looking at heights of shoulders and leg frames, hips, knees, calves, ankles, and then comparison of muscle tone and flesh on the arms and torsos. Some people are way long in the torso and shorter in the legs. We also have some people are really small on top and big on bottom. It all means something. And then posture correction and angle of gaze, and how the spinal column, how it's aligned. Yeah. And then here's a report sheet. It's the disclaimer. And then we use this report sheet by writing it all out, taking notes of what we've seen in that body. And on the end of the 3 days, we actually write an overview and recommendations for that person to what they we see that they could correct within themselves to bring more alignment. It's all about alignment, aligning to our higher self, aligning and standing in pride and dignity for who we are, but letting go in the body. We have to understand step by step. So we're going to go through here quite fast, and I'll get Kelly to do a few, because this is quite the biggest part of the manual. So we're looking at sacred keys, involution versus evolution, jewel of the lotus, what it all means, and looking at center core energy centers and a development of the outer sheath through the chakra system. All our work is based in esoteric and tantric sciences, and how our center core is working, the 7 energy centers, what each thing means. Like upper arms is giving and receiving, love and emotion. Forearms is action, confidence, protection, identity. So this is something we go into very much in depth to understand. And then how to do that report sheet and the drawings. And those are the 4 drawings. It's giving us a comparison, what we're seeing. And then there's a whole library of imbalances of energy centers. What did I talk about? Small on top, big on the bottom. What does it mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a library we use. Let's say the alignment of the spinal column, we can see it here. Imbalance of energy flow. So she's giving away her power and bending over backwards to please others is what I see. And then more imbalances, way ahead of the plumb line and posture correction. So off balance. Oh, look at the feet. Pigeon toe.
Yeah. Everything means something. Wide toe, pigeon toe, head tilt.
Pressures on the spinal column.
Yeah, that's another thing we go through in the training is speaking into what physical dis-eases you're going to be experiencing in these misalignments.
Yeah. Here's all the muscle tone, tissue, skin types, what type. Some people are leathery, some people are paper skin, paper thin skin, or have they hardened, body temperature, tissue distribution. Now this is an example of that 8-page program, so I'm going to just scoot through here. How it's been written up, how to write one of those report sheets up. This is your disclaimer. This is a written part of it that I showed you of that report sheet. The blank one that I had at the bottom. Mm-hmm. And then we go through the feet, how to read feet, the language of the feet, what everything means, bottom of the soles, inner and outer edges, well-groomed, grounded, the chakras of the feet, and the foot point. Kelly, if you see in this, feet in 2 different directions, means it's, or both feet more pigeon-toed, holding on and blocking, or if just one foot is out, or the right foot is out, or the left foot is out. You can tell so much about a person just by their feet.
Or that foot on the right that was like all crinkled up and gripping.
This one here?
Just shouts like tension.
Yeah.
Lack of, lots of emotional crises unresolved.
And a lot of it's base chakra issue because it's on the bottom hill here, right? So the arch is that's the solar plexus.
Solar plex.
So you can tell that usually that person would be busting their back to please other people, how I would read it.
And lots of mental energy because the toes are gripping. So a lot of controlling thoughts, overanalyzing, mentalizing emotions.
Yeah. Toes are all mental, just like the fingers are mental. So different types of feet, what they mean, and how to read each individual toe. Second toe is the feeling toe. A lot of people have their second toe longer than their first. Is that yours, Kelly? I noticed.
Yep, that means emotions are very important to me.
Yeah. Mirrors perception of self, influencing feelings, emotions, and interrelationships within the environment. When longer, then the big toe can be demanding and controlling of others.
Historically, that's been true. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, but you can recognize it in yourself then. I mean, when you do it. Joints.
And just a little side note on that. That's part of the shadow hunting with this, is you can see a tendency by just how your body is shaped and be able to meet that energy differently.
Yeah. Well, I'm very stubborn. That comes with a square jaw and can't bend this thumb, language of the hands. But then I notice when I am stubborn, right? And sometimes that stubborn works for me because I will get through it. And sometimes, it doesn't work for me. So you just understand, I just want it my way. You know, there's other ways. So ankles, what's happening there, calves, and alignment here again, frontal and spinal planes. Knees, locked knees, or leg frames, weak legs, counting the pigs. We use a lot of humor in our workshops too, because humor is another way of processing emotions, where we can go really deep. A lot of old tears can come up, and old issues, and really, I mean, you can do it all here, Mother Earth, and wash it through the Rio Chiripo, which means eternal waters. So a lot of processing. So thighs, you're someone sprung apart. Maybe they didn't feel supported by our inner world, is the inner thigh, where here we see Catholic knees, a lot of sexual issues, because there's a lot of protective tissue in between the legs. So we always call them Catholic knees, because Catholics can't take the pill, so they put the pill between their knees, and not even the Pope can get his nose up there. So nowadays I shouldn't say that though. So also the tissue, this would be very yang or yin, so fatty cellulite tissue. So the tension is way underneath, where this to me is very muscular, and that's standing the ground. That's yang tissue. It's rock hard all the way through. So all this, the quality and quantity of flesh can tell us exactly what's going on in a person. So here's pelvic shape, and also flexibility in the hips and the type of hips, if they're tucked, losing their ass, or if they're cocked, it would hold back the sensual energy. So this person is busting their back to please other people, where this person's giving it all away. No ass, no assets. They have no abundance. Their buns aren't dancing. So here we go into the pelvic region itself. Kelly, you want to talk a little bit about your hip, what you went through there?
Yeah. You take it off sharing?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, so one of the reasons why I was inspired to get into psychosomatic therapy was needing a hip replacement. At 38 years old, I had a hip replacement, and this was my second surgery. 7 years prior to that, I had an orthoscopic surgery to try to fix my hip. And when I finally got my hip replacement, I was at a complete stop. I couldn't walk. I mean, I could walk, but it was slow, right? I had to relearn how to stand, how to walk, how to move my body, how to work out. And in this slowing down process, I took all the information I got from psychosomatic therapy, and I decided I was going to listen to why I was in the shape I was in and heal the stories that caused the misalignments. So the breaking down of my body was what allowed me to put myself back together. And this is the beauty of body language. The intention is to not break you down and punish you. The intention is to get the point across. Hey, listen to me. I need to be loved differently. And since I was raised in an environment where it wasn't safe to listen to my body, and I had numbed and dissociated from my intuition in order to survive, I wasn't listening to these messages. And so because of that, they had to get louder and louder and louder until I finally listened. And in this listening, I realized how devoted my soul is to my evolution. And this is really what inspired me to keep on this journey.
Yeah. One word we use there, we don't work out, we work in. How to work in. And also,
yes.
I mean, I often use the example, hey, can't use this example anymore. If you're going to move to Costa Rica, don't you think you'd want to learn Spanish? So if you're going to live in your body, it's about learning the language of the body. And that's where the healing can really begin, is you've got to learn the language. It's not a matter of not listening. It's just not understanding what the language is, right?
Yes.
So
And in that process, I realized it wasn't just my hip that had the problem. The hip was a manifestation of so many other things. Like legs are the tree trunks and the roots, right? So my roots, my tree trunks were unhealthy. My foundation was unhealthy. The initial years of my life were unhealthy, the teenage years. And so this was really learning to cultivate health, to let go of the stuff that created the disease and cultivate the health to really grow.
Which hip was it? Left, right?
Left, yeah,
Yeah.
feminine wounding that was rooted in being raped as a baby.
So yeah, that's emotional support for yourself now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So these are things we can take a look at, right? And you're just aware of it now. And then you can heal it. If it's buried, you can't. Uh,
Hmm.
so I'm going to keep going with,
And one more thing I'd like to say, because I feel like a lot of practitioners are going to find this valuable, is looking at where the injuries are says so much about what needs to be healed. So for me, the final manifestation was in the hips, which is where the sexual and the grounding energy is. So showing from a foundation that I didn't feel grounded because of the sexual violations, which set a, you know, a trajectory or a domino effect in my life. So it's really just learning to remember and put back together the dismembered parts.
yeah, didn't you say something about your buttocks the other day? You said, oh, I'm getting an ass.
Yeah, walking in alignment. I mean, for many years, I would work out so hard, and the lower part of my butt was just dissociated and not perky. It would just hang. And really, that was a representation of how I felt about my foundation. And once I started shifting the way I walk and walking in my power and caring for myself, uh, I started to get a butt, like a firm and perky butt, strong butt.
Yeah, and so, we look at different buttocks, a tight ass. Well, you can't even slide a credit card through there, never mind pinch a pinch a penny. So we want to, this is aligning all the way up the body and how you can reshape yourself.
Hmm.
Um, Abdomen, solar plex issues. This is all, we go into the chest area. Oh, this is still solar plexus. Chest area would be teaching people how to breathe again, 3-stage diaphragmatic breathing, how to feel more in the heart chakra. A lot of people, when they hug another person, they don't breathe. You need to have some action and reaction through the rib cage. And with diaphragmatic breathing, it actually sets the, it actually helps the heart pump the blood through the body. It shouldn't, otherwise your heart is doing all the work. People have their diaphragm are completely locked. Those intercostal muscles are there to expand, and it's like bellowing, like to build your fire, to get the fire from the solar plexus into the heart chakra, which is air and feelings. So expanding our chest. So
Hmm.
all the different uh, shapes of the chest, narrow chest, breasts, how big are the breasts, how small are the
Shoulders.
breasts, shoulders. Kelly, you want to talk about your shoulder?
Yeah. You wanna you wanna show them so I can show my shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this right here, you can see I had a metal plate and 6 screws in here. I broke my collarbone. But actually the thing that's been highlighting a lot to me are the chips on my shoulders. That was one of the things that first popped out at me when I first started training. And the chips on the shoulders right here speak to having a chip on the shoulder. And most recently, I've been like feeling into the energy of like what about how I'm using my body is forming that. And I realized that I've had a very long pattern of this pulling back and up. It's almost like I'm on the defense. And really what this posture is saying to me is I have felt screwed over so many times. It's like I'm bracing for an attack and I'm really pissed off about
Yeah, here comes another one, right?
it. Yeah.
But also your shoulder, that was when you were going to go into
Oh, yes.
ministry.
Yes. So that, oh yeah, thank you for reminding me about that. So my left collarbone, I was actually the worship producer at a church, and I had decided I was going to become a pastor and get a master's of divinity at Fuller Theological Seminary. I was accepted and I was excited. And at the same time, I had been experiencing a lot of doubts. I was asking questions and people were attempting to answer them, but not really meeting what I needed. And on top of that, I was having anxiety, heart palpitations, shallow breathing. I'd wake up in the middle of the night with panic attacks. And I just thought, you know, my body is freaking out because I'm not going to be able to travel. So I'm going to book a 2.5 week trip to Bali in Thailand, get the travel bug out of me and hunker down for this master's. And within 24 hours of being in Bali, I broke this collarbone and it was a freak accident. I was in the most calm water, like up to my shins, no waves, really, like really shallow waves. And I turned for 1 second and then boom, the surfboard came. And it was a high stress situation, right? I'm in this foreign country. They want $10,000 cash that I don't have to fix me. And I'm traveling with my brother who experiences schizophrenia. And so he's high emotion and all this chaos and all the stress lifted off me. I was like, what is this? And I realized that that was the first time I really felt my soul communicate. And I went and emailed my church pretty shortly after that. And I said, I love Jesus. I can't swallow the rest. I'm going down another path. And when I found out what this collarbone breaking means, it means that your belief system is one way and life is challenging you. And so you're at the crossroads of continuing to hold on to a belief system that no longer serves you, or recreate your existential connection to life, God, cosmos, human. And look, I got the point. I finally got the point and I did a 180. And that's the point, that the soul's not trying to beat me up. It's like, hey, there's something else and you're missing the point.
Yeah. What do they call it? A man of the collar, or what? Or is it a robe? That when you go into ministry, man of the collar.
Well, that's more like Catholic. I was non-denominational.
Yeah, but
They
just
just
because
call
it's the
us.
collarbone, yeah,
Oh, yeah. That is a funny coincidence.
yeah. Okay, let's keep going here. And so shoulders, and raised shoulders, bowed shoulders, forward hunch, backward hunch. If someone's protecting their heart, or if they're sticking their heart out there, and breasts, size of breasts. What it all large breast is breastfeeding the world. Small breast is not maybe feeling love even from the mother's womb.
Or getting sucked dry from nurturing too much.
Yeah. Well, often it's the mother not loving herself. It's not about not loving the child. And, that here again, always breathe when you're holding a child. They can feel that. So arms, weak arms, overdeveloped muscles in the arms. Now we go to spinal columns, what it all means. So everything is here. Neck. We're going to go through here pretty quick. So that's kind of what we do in those 3 days. And so we're now at day 5. Get out of here. Keeps covering my arrow. So during those 3 days, we also cover this next part of the manual, which is just kind of a separate one in itself. And this is limbs, joints, and feet. So even though we went through some of the feet in the other one, this just elaborates a little bit more on it. So looking at all the joints, what they mean, and where fire is held in the joints. Joints are all about moving forward and
Empowering movement.
yeah. Point of balance, lumbar point of balance. And here,
So we talk
go ahead.
I I was just going to say, we talk a lot about balance and our posture because this is what brings alignment. A lot of us, the way life is, um, the way we've experienced life has knocked us off balance, and it shows in our body. And so we show you how bringing that into alignment actually increases the energy moving through your body and alleviates pain and disease.
Dis-ease, yeah.
Dis-ease, yeah.
Arms, how we're holding our arms. What do we call this? T-Rex?
T-Rex arms.
Yeah. And pulling in and trapping in the rib cage, and how we're unsupported and losing energy. As soon as you do this, you're losing energy. We want to contain energy, but not rigid. So it all means something. Where the foot point is out. And here again, some of this is showing us again, these are more like case studies, seeing real bodies, how, like we study the different body parts and what they all mean, and case studies on the feet, and language of the feet, all the bones, how it's related to the different glands, chakras of the feet. Some of this repeats itself. It's just some people just do feet reading, so legs again, what they mean. More case studies. And a Q&A after. So that is the first 5 days, 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the other parts we're going to move quite a bit faster, because this is start putting it all together. Oh, first of all, we've got hands. So hands is the 6th day. Language of the hands, got the whole world in your hands. How you touch.
Well, a lot of people think a hand reading is a psychic reading, and it's not. Again, it's looking at the formation of the energy that's shaped someone.
So we have our different quadrants of the hands, how much energy is in each part. Inner reserves and vitality and creativity would be more on the palms of the hands, and then how the energy flows outward. A lot of people, I say, they don't notice their hands can be quite different from one to the other, right? So, I mean, this one's very square, and this one's quite conical. So most people, their hands could be a little different from one side to the other. And I said, how long have you had those hands, So here again, chakras of the hands. And
what all the individual digits mean.
Yeah. This is the mounds, how much energy is in each mound. Some people are very flat, they've lost a lot of energy. If you have a menstrual cycle, like if you have any pain and issues, you might want to rub the moon mound, which is the sacral chakra of the hand, and it usually relieves that issue or some of the cramps. Just like we did the shape of the face, we do the shape of the hands. It tells us something, whether they're square or rectangular, psychic hands, more intuitive hands, where the palm is much longer than, let's say, the fingers itself. That's more intuitive. And condition of the hands, someone's got clammy hands or dry and rough, or, they all mean something. So here's all the digits, like Kelly was saying earlier. Looking at all the fingers is Venus, which is your will, love, wisdom, active intelligence. This is Jupiter, Saturn, Apollo, our ambition, and Mercury, communication. And so it all means something. I can name off all the digits too, but we do that in the class, see which, where it's full, where it may be lacking, or knotty fingers, if there's knots in the joints.
Or if they're turned funny ways.
Yeah, turning inward. These are the tips of the fingers. And what that means, what the thumb means, wasted thumb, or you're stub born, they can't budge this, you know, my way or the highway, right? And then you do a reading. So this, like the faces, you do a complete 2-page report for another person, and then you give an evaluation at the end, which is read in front of the class. So yeah, you put it all together. So, and we give you extra templates for everything. You get all your manuals. They're, you know, it's we have 2 different manuals, and so yeah, it's very, very in depth, and something. It's just amazing what you can learn in such a short period of time of 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
So this is day 6. So we're just, and what we do in the 14 days, then we have 2 days, I say off, but 2 days to process and embody what you just learned in the first 6 days, and maybe do a few practices on each other, let's say on face reading, and do a few little homework things, or take you around in the area, go to the butterfly dome, and do lots of swimming in the river, where a lot of the students will go early in the morning and swim in the river, go for a dip first thing in the morning. So
I'm in that river almost every day.
yeah. And the food, we got good food. We got,
Oh, Maritza's the best.
yeah, we feed our
Best on the
students.
mountain.
Yeah, we feed our students very well. So then we spend a couple of days going through emotional anatomy. Here it's all studying the archetypes of different body shapes, how you can see them right away, and we get into all these different positions. And here, looking at even the myofascia creates the attitude of the body, and the different rigid structures and performance, the different roles, and how energy is flowing through those different parts of the body, or different sacs of the body, like the pouches, I should say, not sacs, pouches. This would be, you know, this is usually like a military guy, firefighter, bodyguard usually has a body shape like this. This is the protector. And then you have more of this different type, withdrawn from others, and how the energy is flowing headlong into the world, and swollen, and how that energy is flowing out through the sacral base. Yeah, so this is all based on energy flow again, and then we spend a whole day learning the emotional release trigger point therapy. We do table work, and you work on someone, someone works on you. You don't have to be a massage therapist to do this, even if you're using it just for your own knowledge. I do my own trigger points. Certain things I'll do is to release a muscle if something's out of a balance, or I just want to work on a certain thing. I will trigger point my own self. It's very easy to do, but you got to know the points. And they're right at the point of incision of the muscle to the body. And that's the trigger point. So it can release the whole muscle, not just massage it out, because often it hasn't been triggered at the incision. So we do that for a whole day learning. It's wonderful, wonderful, because you've just prepared your body for the first 8 days to release whatever. This speeds it up in a quantum leap of releasing that energy at a cellular memory too, because now you've connected the issue with the tissues, and now you can really release it. So these are different points and how we do them. And for different parts, for different issues in the body, like stomach cramps or high blood pressure, these are points that can be used. So that's emotional anatomy. We spend 2 days doing that. And then we spend what day are we at? 8.
I think 10,
9,
8,
9. This is the practitioner training procedure, what we call. And the first day, what we do is we look deeply at psychosomatic diseases and where, like we usually use ourselves as an example. Let's say the students, we do kind of case histories of your family diseases, and maybe that's running in you, where to recognize that, but also how to read other people. So here we're doing client intake, like how to read someone just by talking to them, whether it's on the phone, what questions to ask about diseases and their environment, where they, what pecking order they were in. So this is more about an exploratory form that you might ask a client, but it's also to asking the right questions, even if you're talking to a friend. And then where the certain diseases are, like the bladder, are they pissed off? The bone structure is usually a break in the spirit, because your bones are the densest form of your spirit. How blood flows, breasts, yeah. So we evaluate all of these diseases in certain parts of the body to get a deep understanding of this. And then we spend day 10, 11, and 12 is all, no, not 10. What did I say? 10? No, it's,
10.
Yeah, I usually forget about those 2 days off in between. So this would actually be 11, 12, no, 12, 13, and 14th day of the 2-week program is practice, practice, practice. So I'm going to turn this off because we're pretty well through this, besides case studies and
Another report sheet.
Yeah, report sheet, because on that 12th day, we actually bring someone from the community. And here again, it's about practicing on other people, because we've done each other, and we bring someone in that knows nothing about this. So this builds confidence in a person to be able to read someone from outside of the classroom, and also to assist them. You see all the lights come on and how much you've learned. But it's really about when you speak it to another person, you embody the work so much deeper and deeper and deeper. And so, and they get all these elements of surprise. How did you know that, right? And of course, it's under our supervision, myself and Kelly, or any other practitioner that might be joining us throughout the process. And so, yeah, and then you have a whole day with that person, and then you get to read your report, that 8-page, the one of where you draw out the body, and the other report sheet. You do a summary, give them the suggestions that they could change according to what you see in their body. And that's life-changing for that person. I have people say, hey, I got read like 15 years ago at one of your classes. It changed my life, right? And so that's what we do on that 12th day, 13 and 14. Here again, 13, we do each other again, and we go deeper into the body work and reading faster. You're learning how to read faster and faster, building more confidence. And then on the 14th day, we invite someone again from the outside. You do a whole body reading and a body work session on them. So everything's about practice, and those become part of your case studies for going for your practitioner. And so, yeah, it's so life-changing. And you know, I've done it in hotel rooms, I've done it in all sorts of places, but what I've seen being in Costa Rica here at Mother or Heaven and Earth Sanctuary, being in the womb of Mother Earth and eternal waters running through here, and just being grounded and down to earth and seeing the beauty in nature, it seems like people shift so much faster than a
Mm-hmm.
blank hotel room, you know, banquet room or something that, yeah, it's so
Full
worth,
of other energy, right? It's
yeah.
like grounding, spacious.
And we've developed and hold the energy for the light workers. And
Hmm.
Costa Rica is a point of balance, and it's between South America and North America. And Rio Chirripó flows from the Pacific, from the top of the mountain to the Pacific Ocean, and the top of the mountain to the Atlantic Caribbean Ocean. So it's like an anode and a cathode. It's like a battery charger here between salt water and fresh water. And Costa Rica, we have 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of nighttime. And there's so much about, and we never change our time zone. It's, yeah, it's just an amazing place to be. And Kelly is here now, chosen to live
Hmm.
in Costa Rica, and we have an amazing community here of light workers from all over the world. And that's what we do: train light workers, practitioners, light workers, and there's such a spiritual component to being fully present within our body, and we say creating this noosphere.
Mm.
And the noosphere, no, N-O-O, means now. So the now sphere is how to be conscious of how to use your body in every minute. Stay in the driver's seat, and really, which takes practice. Hey, I go out of alignment lots too, but it always brings me back
Hmm.
to center. And this work teaches me. I mean, I got to keep my feet straight if I'm telling someone else to keep their feet straight. So.
Yes.
So Kelly, I
And
think you have some closing remarks that you want to, you know, I mean, we're offering this 4 times a year so far in
Mhm.
Costa Rica for 14 days, and we invite you to stay a few extra days. The center is also an Airbnb if you want to stay longer and explore the area. We've got a beautiful mineral springs and butterfly dome and cloud.
Cloud Bridge, waterfalls.
Yeah, everything here. So, and all organic food, fresh everything, dairies, homemade cheese from just up the road, and
Homemade bread.
yeah, sourdoughs and
Yeah.
big farmers markets. So, so Kelly, you want
Yeah.
to invite them if they're interested to email you, maybe set up a discovery session for them. And
Yeah. If you are interested in hearing more about the training, whether it's the 14-day training or upcoming face reading trainings that we have, the face reading trainings are online. You can reach out to me on Instagram or my email. Instagram at Kelly Love Rewilding. My email is the same, Kelly Love Rewilding at pm.me. And last thing I would love to share is that the importance of doing this work for ourselves first is when we become the clear mirror, when we have that courage to face all that is in the mirror of ourselves, this is when we become the clear reflection for other people. And it's also in this process that we develop the compassion and love that we need to be those guides, those reflections to other people. Because a lot of times people are just throwing stuff in each other's face, and it can throw people off balance and damage them more. And when we become clear and loving, that's what we get to offer other people. And this is really what is going to level up your ability to serve the people that come to you for guidance.
absolutely. And I have seen so many people's lives change so hugely in
Mm-hmm.
the way they use this work in many different, you know, coaches, anyone. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to be a practitioner in this work. It's about practicing on yourself. I keep saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But also just the awareness. Even if you just took a face reading class, you look at people differently. Everything, the whole world comes alive because you
Mm-hmm.
see everything in technicolor, not just, oh, it's another face, it's another face. And truly what this work does is teaches us compassion and how to be compassionate to ourselves first and then to others. And we all have idiosyncrasies and we can laugh at them too, right? And
Mm-hmm.
look at our own habits and laugh at them or change them or not change them. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're going to do, just be more aware. And so we bring awareness, alignment, and awakening. And that's what the Great Awakening is to be more of a master on this planet that you came to be.
Mm.
And we just give
Yes.
you the tools. And we're all masters. If you're here right now, you're a master. So start acting like one. Start being one. And that's when things come alive. And I see a lot of people doing the spiritual bypass. Oh, everything's fine. I'm just going to do yoga all day. Look at your issues and come home and review your life. See who you are and find all those beautiful. Look at you found the diamonds in the dog shit with your collarbone, with your hip joint, anything that's happened. You got to find the diamond in it, and so you don't have to repeat that lesson. So, okay, well, so I'm going to put, this will be up on YouTube. I will put all the listings down below on how to get a hold of myself and or Kelly if you're interested in face reading or any one of the classes. Or we teach a lot online just through our
lives, workshops.
Yeah. So, but just get a hold of, or follow us, and you'll find out. I'm on YouTube also under the Lightworkers Institute. So, yeah. So enjoy this beautiful day. Every day is a beautiful day. So much love to you all. Mwah.